Have you ever heard of the Georgia Guidestones?
Yes, they're supposedly like these things that like give humanity like the reset button, like after things go awry, like what you need to like reestablish like
Yes.
humanity, basically.
Yeah, so like okay, so I remember hearing about like like these things might exist or whatever, right? But I never looked into it. I was like, okay, whatever. Like this kind of stuff it pops up in these weird art installments or whatever, you know? But KT brought that up tonight and I was like, I'm gonna look into this, you know? So like I looked into it and it turns out they were a thing. They existed. They were built in 1980. They were built
Oh,
in
so they were like newer.
well, like new, I mean new, but like they were around since 1980.
I thought that they were like an like a early what's that like Mason thing?
Oh,
I
okay,
thought
yeah,
it
yeah,
was like a
like a Freemason.
Templar thing, like the
Yeah, yeah.
Templars or
Well,
whatever.
so they popped up in 1980s, right? And like what these things had were a bunch of like thoughts where they're like, oh, this is how you make society, like rebuild society in a sustainable way. If the world goes to hell, like if like there's a nuclear like fallout and everyone's dead and like you found a way to survive, this is these try to follow these rules. And essentially what this said was like keep the population under 500 million, focus on eugenics a little bit.
Oh
Just
man,
like
there's some little bit of racism in there.
yeah, yeah. No, well, no, but they did say to their credit, they did say like keep things healthy, like what did they say? Like healthy and diverse, which is interesting because they're like, oh, we're gonna get things. We just don't want any of those like people with ailments. No, no one who's unable to walk. And, like what? I don't know. It was all very funny. But the reason she brought it up is because like we found out that someone exploded one of them in 2022. I didn't know this.
Like
So like
attacked them, like just
yeah,
destroyed one.
so they were literally at like 4 o'clock in the morning. One of them was just exploded, and I was just like, "Which one?" Like, why?
Is it the one that specifically mentioned diversity, or is it one of the
Right?
ones that was
Is it like
like
which
who?
one?
Which asshole did it? Like, is it a good asshole or is it like a bad
Yeah,
asshole
yeah.
that did this?
Which flavor of ass are you? So yeah, I looked and it was like the one that was in Swahili because apparently it was like these tablets existed in like several different languages, and someone was like, "We're okay with keeping population super low. We're okay with like these like, weird, odd like eugenic suggestions. We're not okay with Swahili. How dare you? What? What?"
That's the one that's got to go.
Like that's where they draw the line. They're like, wait, this is in 8 languages, one too many for my taste. What are you talking
It
about?
turns out the Swahili one actually had the real truth of the universe on it.
No one in the areas like could speak Swahili.
Some redneck back in 1980 is like, yeah, ain't no one ever gonna come here that can speak this, so we'll be good. All
Yeah,
of our secrets will be safe.
this is how you cure cancer. This is how you just hello, welcome to We Have Issues. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Stevie Wildcard.
And every week, my best friend Stevie Wildcard and I get together and we do our best to overcome the various issues and obstacles and nonsense that life throws our way in order to get something done. Most recently, we've been working on a supernatural superhero culty comedy comic called Deathless, and we are on issue 4 now, Steven. We're doing pretty
Issue
awesome.
4.
Every week we get together and we talk about this. Like the whole point of this show has been to make like hold ourselves accountable, Stephen, right? Like to be like we have to be accountable week after week to make sure we get stuff done, despite the fact that I suck at like just spiraling and like getting distracted and stuff. So I'm trying to do better, and we're focusing on this stuff. However, Stephen, I will say, recently, it's kind of like running on its own. Like it's just like we're running on inertia of like our previous and like previously in Anthony Stevens' lives. Like
We're just flying straight, bro.
we're just doing it. We're just doing the thing now. So now what I say, Steven, is what do we? I don't know what to do with my hands on this show. I'm like, and that's what happens. So if you're watching for the first time, thank you. We appreciate you being here. Welcome to our weird little colony. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the like button. Even though you don't know if you like this yet, please like us a little. However, Steven, what we've become is something of like a variety show that talks about comic book making in the periphery. Like we have these segments and like silly stuff that we do, and we sing songs and we do this stuff, and we hope to be entertaining to people, but at the same time, I'm like, who are we, Steven? Who are we?
we are we are comics, like Venom style. We are I watched the third Venom, by the way, finally.
Oh, did you? I still haven't watched it. I need to see it.
It's
God,
fun.
it's fun. I really need to see it. I also have to watch Daredevil today, like tonight.
Yeah, that comes out actually after we're done. It comes out at 9.
Oh, does it? I thought it was okay. Yo, cool, cool. All
I
right.
think it's at 9. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So I don't even
Oh,
think it's out yet. So I
oh,
mean, right after this is when it's out.
heck yeah. So dude, I have to watch that. I can't wait. But dude, what? Okay, so this is my question to you, right? Who are we now? Who are we as far as like, if people are like, oh, like before we were people who have never published a comic book, like we had never done anything. Now, here we are. We have not only published like our first graphic novella, but now we are 3 issues deep as far as being published comic book
Mhm.
creators in an ongoing series that's nearly finished, that is completely finished being written, right? So like we're doing really well. Not to mention we are paid comic book creators now. We have an ongoing series called Bloodlust. It's a erotic vampire, comedy thriller, and that's going really well. We're not in the same place that we were before, where we're kind of like,
No. How do you word like, hey, we're public indie comic creators who are starting to see profit from their endeavors, but don't make enough profit to completely quit their day job.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, but we're working toward it, Like I'm like in a place where I'm starting to work on like other projects, and we're working on like 2 comic books at once, and it's just like it feels awesome. It feels fantastic. I love like that's like I feel like we have all this great momentum and we're heading in the right direction. I just don't I'm like for the show's sake, I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, what is the hero's journey that they're waiting for?" And I think it's first of all, I think it's you quitting your job, which you need eventually. We're going to get there. And second, I don't know. I think maybe like since Deathless is like toward the end of its run, I think we're like ready to be like, what's our next big thing we're gonna
What
go?
what are we sinking our teeth
What are we
into?
sinking our teeth into next? So I think like we have to start thinking about that so we can start like getting people excited for it, getting ourselves excited for it, getting a little scared because that's what I do. I need time to overthink, Steven. You can't just throw me into somewhere and expect me to like survive. I can't swim without reading a manual about how to swim first. How dare you?
I will die in my brain before I die from whatever it is that you're saying I'm going to be not prepared for.
Just like the good Lord intended, Steven. That's how it goes. But yeah, dude, so anyway, but we're doing it. So every week, we talk about the various things that we had issue with or that distracted us. This week, Steven, I've been distracted by just numerous ideas. I have so many ideas for all these things. I have new ideas for comic books. I have like book that I'm working on. I have like the bloodlust stuff. I have all these things. And then in addition to that, I had a new idea for a segment, Stephen, for a segment for us.
Ooh.
And here's the thing. I'm combining. I'm combining because that's all creation is, right? You take two things that exist and you steal them and you punch them together until they have little like idea babies, and then it becomes something that
So they
maybe
become like a Play-Doh snake of ideas.
yes. So we're gonna Play-Doh snake this, Stephen. Instead of monster test, right? Instead of comic conjectures, we're gonna look in this book of cryptids and do cryptid conjectures.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're near the campfire and you don't got a fucking story. So you whip out the book of cryptids and ask some questions that are gory. Cause it is cryptid conjectures. It's the same theme song but slightly changed. And there is no mention of Stephen or Anthony. Cryptid conjectures.
Beautiful, Stephen. So
Beautiful.
the idea is we're going to take this book, The United States of Cryptids, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through the glossary or the table. We're going to go through a table of contents. And Stephen, I'm going to ask you to give me. I'm gonna list some like general locations for you. You're going to give me one. I'm just going to pick a cryptid at random, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to guess what it is, or at the very least, come up with a cryptid
We're
based
gonna
on
just
its name.
completely build it from the ground up.
All right, so let's say, oh, okay, Stephen, this is a quadrant situation. Okay, so north, south, east, or west, Stephen?
Ooh, let's go east.
East. I like it.
I will
Okay,
know less about the east than I will the west. So,
that's fair. All right, let me see. Stephen, in your infinite wisdom and your
it's
absolute,
vast. It's
yeah, we
endless.
know it's endless. You know everything there is to know.
I'm basically Ultron.
You are Ultron. You know everything there is to know about cryptids. I know that, and I want you with your just professional cryptid, brain. Tell me exactly what a snallygaster is.
Ooh, Well,
Snallygaster.
everyone knows the snallygaster is a little goblin-like creature that lives in the trees in Indonesia. And basically, if you pick the fruit before it is fully ripened and ready to be plucked, the what's it called again?
Snallygaster.
The snallygaster will grab you from the treetops and pull you up, and you go missing forever.
I like that. I like that a lot, Stephen. Now, one thing I have to ask you is like, how did it make its way to the United States?
Oh, so because of how we trade and commerce throughout the entirety of the world, um, whatever we import from Indonesia specifically, it was on that ship in the crates, and it found its way into the lush forests of the Carolinas.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Um, it's interesting though because eventually the Snallygaster made its way to Western Maryland,
Ooh,
apparently.
Maryland. Yeah, see, after they're actually very well equipped
Mhm.
to traverse mountainous regions and stuff. So they made it through Virginia. They just, you know, they're like, you know what? I want to see how this became this. I want to see where the founders, where this land that I'm seeing before me now, not necessarily the land before they found it, but the land that it is now. I want to see what these weird folk have done to create this. I'm going to go to where I think, the origin of these people was, and it
Okay.
just, found its way into Maryland.
Stephen, apparently the Snallygaster is also known as Dead Drunk Demon Dragon, and
Ooh.
this is one of my favorite descriptions of a cryptid I've ever read. Just the visual of this. Okay, this is what this sentence. By the way, you should pick up this book. It's fantastic. It's United States of Cryptids by J.W. Ocker. And in it they write, the Snallygaster looks like a chicken crossed with a dragon choking on an octopus.
Well, choking specifically, like it looks like this, but now
Specifically,
imagine that creature completely in fear of its life because it is choking on an
choking on an octopus.
octopus.
Amazing. But anyway, it says it has a beak full of tentacles. It's
That's
very
kind of epic.
Cthulhu-esque, It's like a Cthulhu monster. So and its earliest sightings was in 1909
Oh,
in
there's
West
actually sightings of this thing.
Maryland. Yeah, most of these have some sort of this is the art that's depicted of the Snallygaster.
Very similar to the Mothman, if you think about it.
It is. And the Mothman has been suggested that, or it has been suggested that Mothman is like a multidimensional or potential time traveling creature. So, maybe related somehow. Maybe a various form, maybe like that thing
Maybe the
evolved
Snallygaster
into.
sent a note to itself in the future. Was like, listen, come back to this point in time and show yourself to me. And Mothman's like, okay, I'm here. Oh, what the fuck is that thing? I am out of here. I don't know what that is.
Steven, okay, wait. Speaking of, I know we're doing the cryptid thing. I have a stupid question. This is Anthony's stupid questions, right? Like questions I shouldn't ask because it's gonna make me look as dumb as people can look. You know how we're human. You know how we're human.
Mhm.
You know how like they call
The
us.
unfortunate curse that we were all given.
Yes,
Yes.
but so they call us a human, right? Like, so I'm a human. But so is a human embryo. So is a human, like what? So is a human baby. Like so is a human toddler. So is a human adolescent. So is a human teenager. So is a human, young adult. So is a human adult. So is a human, like it's a human as it changes. However, we have the various names. We have like toddler. We have adolescent. We have, elderly person, whatever it may be, like senior. We have these names, but the general name is human, right? Like they're all human. We
Mhm.
can still look at it. Same thing with like Triceratops or anything else. Although historically it's really funny if you look up like the history of like paleontology where like they were naming all these different dinosaurs but it just turned out to be like different ages of triceratops. They're just like,
Oh, really? They're like,
this is me, I made this one. They're like, no, that's like an
yeah.
8-year-old triceratops, he already named that, like like Professor Triceratopsian like got it, like he nailed this one.
He's nailed this. It's not,
Yeah, like,
Triceracox or whatever you're trying to go with, buddy. I don't know why you
so
didn't change it that much, but you.
but Steven, okay, I know this is gonna sound stupid. Steven, what is the animal that starts as a caterpillar and turns into a butterfly?
Ooh.
Okay, because here's the thing, like you can say a caterpillar is just a baby butterfly, but no one does. No one thinks about it that
No,
way.
we view caterpillars and
You
butterflies as two
caterpillars and
separate.
as two
Now,
separate things.
metamorphosis obviously complicates this whole naming something
Oh,
thing.
it's very interesting, but not. But Stephen, like test studies have shown that they maintain memory. They maintain
So they
sense
are the
memory.
same
All
beings.
yeah, as much as they do dissolve themselves, their wings are always internally in them. They have in and of themselves like everything they need to be that next thing. Just the same way we have everything we need to go through puberty and become a man. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or become a whatever. You know, like it's we change as well, not to the same extent, obviously, although maybe we could. But, who knows? I'm not a snallygaster, but or maybe I am. But Steven, but like
You're
it
early stage snallygaster.
but it just but it, like I was thinking about this week because I was just like looking for things to do to distract myself from working on on comics and stuff. But I was like, why isn't there a name for the thing that is a caterpillar and also a butterfly? The name for that. So
Like the collective name.
yeah, because and what brought me to this is I was thinking about Tremors, right? And like when you think about I was gonna post about Tremors, right? And I was just like, oh, like well, if you could drop the graboid into any movie that's not a Tremors movie, what movie would you want to drop it into? First of all, is I want your answer for that just because it's interesting. Um, but like, if you, so I was going to ask that question, but then I was like, wait. There are a bunch of different monsters in the Tremors universe. It's like, but it's all one monster. So it starts as like an egg, it becomes these like mini things, and it becomes a graboid, and then the graboid like becomes like a shrieker, and then shrieker becomes an ass blaster. Yes, it does. Go look it up or watch the movies. And then the ass blaster lays an egg, and the egg continues the cycle endlessly onward forever and ever and ever. However, the monster itself doesn't have a name. So like I posted online and I was just like I called it a tremor. I was like this thing that does this and does this and does this and turns into this become is called a tremor. And
It's the
like
whole life cycle of it.
it's all yeah, the whole life cycle. The thing itself exists. It is a tremor. A tremor is a creature that does this. But we don't do it's just interesting to me that like some creatures we give a name to like the species or like the thing in and of itself despite the growth and the change. Like or like every so many things are that way, Like we do name the various parts, but it's all one thing. Like,
So
that's
what I'm hearing is that Pokemon basically has their biology done right because they strictly give a title and creature name for each evolution of the Pokemon. That's
right.
not a Charizard, that's a Charmander, and it does become a Charizard, but it is its own separate being. It's a
But
Charmander.
But it's interesting because it's like, I mean, I guess at that point they're just like, oh, it's like what, like fire type or leaf type. I don't know, but they still don't have a name for the thing, But
The
it's
full, I guess, what would the full Charizard line be called? What's the
yeah,
title of that being?
Charizians. Like it's
Charizians,
just, I don't know. I don't
Squirtalians,
Squirtalians.
Bulbasaurans, I don't know.
But I
I
don't know.
don't
I was
know.
thinking about that. And it was driving me crazy, Stephen. Before I go on any further, do you have anything going on this week that people might want to hear about that you want to tell people about?
Well, first of all, I want to drop a graboid into something about
Ooh,
Mary
yes,
because
please.
I want to see Mary go. Is that hair gel? And it's just like this creature that doesn't speak any language, and it like she takes like the goop from its mouth and puts it in her hair, and the graboid's all ashamed. Like I need to see Ben Stiller as a graboid for the
Oh,
entirety of the movie.
yes. Oh my God. I mean, Ben Stiller as the graphite is just perfect. I just imagine, yeah, I can see it.
Just imagine like in graboid speech, like she knew my name. Some of my best friends didn't even
Don't
know my
know my
name.
name. Oh my God. Yeah,
But
that would be
anyway,
perfect.
this past week,
Yeah.
um, this past week was like a big go event weekend. It happens like once or twice a year. So Tina, Brandon, and I, sans Rachel, unfortunately, did the event this weekend, and it was pretty awesome. We had fun. But I was also asked
Yeah.
to take part in an adventure or a quest with my best friend Anthony.
Yes, we're gonna quest.
We're gonna quest. So Tina's involved too. So it's gonna
Yeah.
be Anthony, KT, Tina, myself, and Tina's friend from work named Lucas, and we are gonna embark on a journey that Dungeon Master Anthony has set forth for us. I will be the half orc paladin named Stephanus Wildcarminium,
Oh,
and
dude.
my lovely wife, is a dragonborn rogue named Nama Wildcarminium. So My
I'm
wife
just
and I will be playing a
so excited.
D&D campaign, and it's
Dude,
pretty exciting.
I can't wait. I am so excited for this.
The
I
first one.
oh my God. I'm so glad you guys like agreed and then it seems like everyone's getting into it and like ready to do it. So I'm like I'm stoked. I can't wait. I've been learning a lot. It's like it is a little overwhelming because I've played D&D. Like I was on a D&D show for a while. So I'm like but that part of it, it was like it's like the learning curve of playing isn't that bad. You're just like, it's mostly improv and being silly and like trying to look at my sheet and remember what my spells are, like that stuff.
Hmm.
But that's fun stuff. The learning curve on the other side where you're like, oh, I have to be a master of something. I was like, can I just be a jack of all dungeons? Like, do I have to be a master of one? Like
Am
this
I the god that they're fighting? Why do I have to be this being?
Yeah, they hate me. They're gonna hate me. Everyone's turning their back on me. But it's been a lot of fun, dude, because like, honestly, I haven't had like an excuse to learn fun stuff in a while. Like I
Hmm.
remember like I mean when I was younger, I used to like I would just kind of surf like Wikipedia, like looking up information about stuff because I was like, "Oh, this is interesting and fun." Lately it's just like life is challenging.
Hmm.
Everything's exhausting. Like there's always some drama or something going on. You're always like spinning in one way or another. You have too many pots on the burners and everything's bubbling over and you're just like, how am I supposed to do anything? And it's like everything I have is staying. I'm a butterfly. I already have my wings up here. There's no way I
I'm
can't
in this
learn another.
horrible pupa, with just horrible state. I'm just in this cocoon of chaos right
Oh,
now,
a
and
cocoon of chaos. Nice. It's title of my sex
metal band.
tape
Yeah,
and metal
cocoon
band.
of metal band. Cocoon, and it's got to have the crazy font where you can't even read the title of the band. It's Cocoon of
100%.
Chaos, but you know what the hell that says.
We need to make at least one Cocoon of Chaos song just because. Like,
I got you.
why wouldn't we? This episode is brought to you by Cocoon of Chaos.
Cocoon of Chaos,
Oh,
cock,
Steve.
if you
Oh,
will.
Steven, that was another thing actually this week that like I didn't plan on talking about at all, but like I have to is I've been obsessed with Macho Man Randy Savage for some reason.
Dude,
Like
that's funny. I just randomly saw a post about how horrible of a human being he was,
I'm
but
sure he was, but Steven, think about that. Like I'm sure he was terrible, but I do want to know like do you think at some point he only did the voice? You know what I mean? Like,
he's home. He's like, "Ooh, yeah, sorry, I don't need hurricane shutters put on my house right now, man." Like, just
they already paid my child support.
I already paid 118.64 to the sons of bitches and my ex. Did you snap into a Slim Jim today?
Can teach you to ride a bike? I can't ride a bike myself. Like,
Look at
what?
you riding it without training wheels.
I just like okay, but it occurred to me when I was because I've been like watching these like random videos of him just doing his silly voice, and I'm just like, why did so many people in the '80s do voices, Stephen? Like
They
we
were
have
like, we are
Gilbert
like
Gottfried,
Broadway. Yeah. Oh, yeah, true
Gilbert
that.
Gottfried, like Bobcat Goldthwait, right?
Hmm.
Every wrestler, right? But it's just like everyone was doing these weird voices all the time, and it's just so interesting. Like
Do
they're
you think it had something to do with maybe like the explosion of like 80s cartoons and like these like eccentric, like over the top
trying to be like
characters?
over the top, like be a character yourself. Like,
Bring
yeah,
bring those characters into the real world and try to capture some of that like magic that like all the kids were obsessed with. Because
yeah.
like I guess if you think about it, I mean like Gilbert Gottfried was actually a comedian, so that's hard to say. But like wrestlers are definitely
Oh, yeah.
entertainers for the young, especially back then. It was definitely like getting the kids into something, and those kids grew up to become diehard wrestling fans, which
Yeah.
my wife is
Oh
one.
man, hang on. First of all, diehard wrestling fan. Like, imagine for a second, if you will, Die Hard, not a musical, a wrestling production, right? Like, it's instead of a cage, it's Nakatomi Plaza, right?
Listen to me, Hans Gruber. You and your Nazis ain't gonna make it far in this tower.
I have a machine gun now. Ho ho ho! Like, just so good. Can you imagine? They have
Yippee-ki-yay,
He
motherfucker.
wrestle on top of the plaza. He does like this crazy elbow drop. Oh my gosh, it writes
It
itself.
does write itself.
I would love to watch that. If you're out there right now and you're a diehard wrestling fan or diehard and or wrestling fan, put them together. Put some peanut butter in that chocolate. Like, let's make this happen. Please.
I'm
Anyway,
Officer Reese. What seems to be the problem?
but yeah, dude, I'm excited. I'm excited to play D&D. I'm excited. It's nice to be able to learn new things and like have a reason to like be super nerdy and like like plan all this fun stuff. And also like it's fun for me because like I love to like improvise, but I'm also like you know how I am. I like to like tell stories. So I'm just like,
Mhm.
ooh, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a fun, interesting experiment for me to like let go of things and be like, hey, I am writing like I'm trying to make like a potential series of opportunities for people the way you do when like a sandbox game, you know, the way you do.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you guys are free to, do whatever you want, like change things and like, like say no to the various quests or whatever. So I have to, it's gonna be fun for me to like explore those and like kind
Because
of
we might not even know it's a quest. We're just like, nah, fuck that guy. And
like
you're like,
that
no,
guy. Yeah.
he is the guy.
Ooh, brother. If you hear someone sound at all like Macho Man Randy Savage, it's your dude. No, that's
He's important.
it has been funny trying to figure out like, wait, what character voices am I gonna do? Maybe I'll like I'm just gonna put random like celebrity voice like names in a hat and just be like, ooh, this guy sounds like SpongeBob. Like this. But dude, I'm excited. And like thank you guys for saying yes to it because I can't freaking wait. I'm so pumped.
Any excuse to eat dips, you know?
Right?
That's really that's what it's all about.
But otherwise, dude, at the end of every show, we always talk about like how we did and what we're doing next. So like, how did you do this week? How did that?
So I did fall short this week, not entirely, but enough to be a problem. Because I had Unova tour weekend and it was basically 10 to 6 Saturday and Sunday. Anthony is wheeling away. I still finished inking like 2 out of the 3 panels though. So
Oh
I mean
yeah,
it's not I didn't completely fail, but I wanted to finish a page and rough another, so I did fail. But yeah, I knew going in that that weekend was going to suck up a lot of time, and it's one of those things that it's like these types of events only happen like twice a year. So I'm like, and Tina and Brandon were available. So I'm like, I'm doing the event. Let's do this. But
nice.
yeah, so yeah, I didn't finish page 3, but yeah, what did you get done this week though, since I
Dude.
failed?
So so I wrote 2 pages of Bloodlust.
Amazing.
I like completely wrote them, like dialogue and all. Also, for your benefit, I got rid of the cruise ship and I had an idea. I'll just like put it on a beach and I like set like that dialogue up on a beach and it all like works. And like because I was thinking about it. I was like, why am I making Steven draw a cruise ship? He doesn't have to. It's a good like if we were making a movie of this, I'd like it would be fun to do this version of it. But I was like, we're not. We're making a comic and it can work this way just as well. So like I did that, like I set it on a beach, which also allows us to have like scantily clad
Hmm.
vampire
Feed
hunting
into the
beaches.
feed into the beast.
That's what we're doing here. Well, that's what that particular project is. So that's what we're doing. However, I wrote 2 of those pages. I also Stephen, I only have something like 50-ish pages left to edit, which is one day's worth. Like I'm literally gonna finish my novel tomorrow.
That's
Like
wild.
that's I can't wait.
And you're just
I
gonna send it to print after
dude,
KT
well,
reads
yeah,
it.
so basically I'm gonna like send it to a couple of beta readers just to get an idea of like what people think. I don't I don't think I'm gonna change very much of it. Like I think it is what it is. If it might need some little corrections because you kind of get lost. And when you look at something for so long, you get lost in the like just in the weeds of it,
Even
So
if there is a flaw or something in like a structure, you won't notice it because you already see the story in your head as you're
yeah,
telling it.
exactly.
So
So yeah, so it'll be nice to have like the third party, like other sets of eyes on it, so then we can just I'll know for sure. And also like how easy it is. You ever see the things where like you read a sentence and you don't notice that the word the is twice in the sentence because your
hmm.
brain naturally gets rid of it. So like
Yep,
it's
just
nice to have other people
flips
look.
it out of there.
Yeah, just for this like that sake. But
Thanos could have had a really good like
dude, editing.
thing just snapping away
Sure.
all the additional things that didn't need to be there.
God. I mean, I wonder because he does snap half of everyone out of existence. He didn't do it like wow. You know what's funny? They could have. What if he would have? What if Thanos would have what is it, decimation or what was like almost House of M'd people? What if it was
Mhm.
like instead of snapping them out of existence now, he snapped them out of existence throughout time. So like so they never existed. You know
They
what
were
I
just
mean?
gone completely.
Yeah, so it's like because I mean he had the reality gem, he had all these gems. He could have
That
literally
would have been even crazier because then you wouldn't even miss the people that are gone.
exactly, and that's what I mean. Where I was going because like that would have actually been the better version of his plan. His plan was stupid, didn't make any sense. He should have just made more resources. You have the technology.
The
Like
universe is ever expanding.
yeah, what are you doing? But if he's going to snap everyone out of existence, why not also snap the like memory of those people out of existence along with the necessity of those people and whatever they, part they fulfilled in reality. It's just like you were lazy. You were lazy, Thanos, and I'm just saying you
He's
could have been a better
like,
dictator.
I have one
Uh,
singular goal, and Thor is about to cut my head off. I just need to make this thing
just gotta
happen.
snap. Yeah. Should have learned to snap with his
One of my
toes.
favorite memes about that was so when Thanos snapped, half of all life, vanished from existence, meaning like half of like, and it's not like half just in people, like half of your gut bacteria disappeared
Yeah.
too. So like every meal you ate after that for like a week, you shit your pants because
Terrible.
you lost like half of your gut microbe. Like it's just
You know what would have been funny if he did that and it's just the way the math worked out, all the humans were still there. It was just like it was
it
just
just
like
shook out this way. We don't have cows anymore, but you know what? There's a lot of us.
well, because he's like half of all the beings in existence. I mean, Earth would account for like an insignificant like number there. It wouldn't matter. Like you could leave every Earthling in a vast like multitude of universes, especially in a multiverse, right? Like, what if he snapped and nothing happened to him? Like he looks around, he's just like, what? Oh, I guess everything's fine. All the
Meanwhile,
other
Universe C is like, oh my god, we're
oh,
all gone.
they really could
There's
have
one
used
of us.
they should have. Oh God, it's terrible that they used that to jump off into multiverse when they could have gotten rid of the multiverses with a snap,
With a snap, yeah.
right? Anyway, but Steven, so I got that done. I'm almost done with my editing. I'm so freaking ready for this. I can't wait. We're almost. I mean, we're ready to ship off these freaking comics. We have everything we need. We have the new T-shirts, Steven. We forgot to talk about the new T-shirts. Steven,
So for those that were awesome enough to back it on Kickstarter to get the shirts, issue 3 t-shirts are in. So like we said before, we are only waiting on the hollow foil prints and
yeah.
then everything ships. So
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I'm so excited to ship everything. And we're going to be playing D&D in 2 weeks. Actually,
mhm.
this Saturday, KT and I are going to see the Book of Mormon, the musical.
Oh,
So
really?
I'm freaking
That's
I can't
awesome.
wait. Yeah, I bought her ticket. Well, I bought us tickets. It was a gift for myself for Christmas. No, but like, well, she said like how much she wanted to go see it. So I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna love this. So I got her tickets for Christmas, and so she's super excited because it's a great freaking musical and it's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. But that's what we're doing this weekend. But this week, what are you gonna work on? What are you gonna how you
I'm
gonna
gonna finish that damn page and I gotta start progressing on 4. The final panel of page 3 is gonna be a bitch. There's a lot of things to squeeze into it, but I
yeah.
got it. A lot of
Awesome.
characters in that one scene because well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the character, the star of issue 4 has a pretty you know, page filling power. So, yeah, but that's what I'm gonna be working on.
Awesome. I'm going to first of all finish the edit of Table Scraps, which is like super significant to me. Also, Stephen, I didn't even mention the fact that I came up with the cover. Did you see that, by the way?
No, I don't think so. Is it
No.
on Twitter?
So
I'm
yeah,
so
yeah.
like
I
I'm
said,
so bad.
yeah, no, I get it, dude. But I came up with a new cover for it. It's like so I commissioned an artist. I'm gonna mess up her name, but Danielle Blanchard to paint my cover.
I saw that cover forever
Yeah,
ago.
but
Yeah.
what I did was I edited that photo and like kind of like tweaked the colors and then found the right text and like put it all together and I love it. Like I really like the way it came together. So I'm just like it's starting to feel like a real book, so I can't freaking wait. But aside from that, I'm going to this week I'm going to start coloring the pages that you sent me for
Awesome. Because
issue
yeah, I did
four.
give you the first 2. So
Yeah, so I'm gonna flat color those, and I'm going to I'm gonna write at least 2 more pages of Bloodlust. I should be
and
able
if
to.
you're confident with those 2 pages being finalized, just send me the script as
Oh,
you do it too, so that way I can work on
100%.
whatever. All right.
Yeah, 100%, dude. So that's what we're doing this week. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this. If you enjoyed anything that you watched, please make sure you subscribe, share this with your friends, let everyone like know that we exist because we're trying to build this weird little colony and put up these pillars so people know what the rules are of our society. Steven, and pretty much
Mm.
it's just don't be a jerk. It's you know,
The Anthony the Tony Banana Hands guide stones.
it's Tony Banana Hands guide. So there's two. It's it,
It's
it's
basically
like
just Bill and Ted's like be
just Bill
awesome
and
to
Ted.
one
Yeah.
another. That's
Be
number one
excellent to
rule.
each other.
If you're
That's
just
all.
excellent, if you're just excellent to one another, like everything else will fall into place.
Yeah. I mean, it seems that way so far, Steven. So far, so good. Things are looking up, okay? Everything's coming up Millhouse. Anyway, we love you all. We're so thankful for you. Thank you for watching this and, being a part of this every week. We've been making these episodes for 235 weeks straight now, Steven.
In a row?
In a row. Yeah, without missing a single episode. So that's impressive. I'm proud of us for that. So if you're here at all, if you've made it this far into the show in this episode, know that we're thankful for you. We really do appreciate every single one of you. It means everything to us that stick with us week after week. Steven, you want to say anything else to the people before we go?
As the usual, like, thank you so much for tuning in each and every week. Thank you for showing up to every Kickstarter that we publish. We appreciate your kindness, your friendship, and your love. We genuinely do.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. Until next time, I'm Anthony.
And I am Stevie Wildcard.
This has been We Have Issues. We'll see you next week.
Boom 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 boom.
This reminds me, like, there was this one time, right, where I wrote a note to a future Lafusi, right? I wrote, like, my note was, it was basically like, do not open this until time travel is possible. Okay. And I wrote this note and I was like, now here's the thing. Here's my thought, my theory, right? The fun thought experiment that I had going on. I wrote this note and it said, do not open until time travel is possible, right? And the idea was I'm gonna pass this to my child if I ever have one, because I wrote it before I knew I was gonna have a son, you know? And then I was like, I'll tell him, like you pass this on until time travel exists. And what the note will say is it'll specify a location and a time, and you go there and you give me lottery numbers like Marty McFly me, give me some information about the future that'll help me get money or whatever. But it never happened, right? Like I wrote the note and like no one showed up. So all I can assume is someone screwed up, Stephen.
Someone burned the note.
Someone along my timeline screws it up. However, Stephen, that someone is not me.
I still have it.
I still have it. Like, unless, can you imagine if I just like I mess that up right now? But it's that,
It like catches fire in your hands. Oh, it's me.
do not read this unless you have access to a time machine. I am serious. Steven,
Turns out every Lafusi did a great job in
dude,
passing it down.
how old do you think I was when I wrote this?
I'm gonna guess 15.
I was 22. I was I wish I was 15. But like
22-year-old. Well, I mean, it hasn't come to fruition. So someone has I'm assuming you set the date for sometime near your 22-year-old self.
yeah. I was well. My thought was as soon as I write this, I'm gonna date like say like come to this date. Didn't happen, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hold it because I have to in order to prove that it's that it works or doesn't. But it didn't happen. So I can only assume that someone fails. Maybe I'll rewrite the note. Maybe I'll make a new one. No, I'm like, listen, future Anthony, help me.
This note, really, I think the truth of that would be to just keep writing notes until it happens, right? Because at some point,
like one of these notes is gonna stick. But I think it's just like someone drops the ball, and by the ball I mean the freaking note. Bring me if you're listening to this future us's and you have time.
It cuts to the distant future. It's like, oh, they just meant time travel yesterday. 1 second. I'm not gonna fucking do that. He just throws it.
In this economy, do you know
in this economy, how much it costs to time travel?
I guess
Because time traveling is going to be fucking expensive if capitalism is very much still present.